How would you describe it in a sentence? Like one sentence.
Who's doing the interview?
I'm just trying to think of like a good way for you to like introduce this, seeing that it's like all new.
Oh, you're trying to okay.
So seeing that it's largely a personal thing,
right? And I was gonna ask you like what I should even like call this thing that I'm doing, but to put it in like one sentence, it would be. I don't know. I think of I reach into my vocabulary and everything I'm reaching for is like, oh, that's very pompous. That's very pompous too. Fucking, I don't know. I don't fucking know what this is gonna be. This is just gonna be me sharing what I like with, whoever, for those who apply. I don't know. Speed, camera speed, and action.
Slate.
What? God damn it. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to this very, very special thing that I am doing for the very first time. Today I am with a very special fellow from San Francisco, introducing his brand new debut album, Passage, underneath the name of Tegmentum, is Michael Ball. I am very stoked to have you here. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Right on. So I heard of you through your brother, honestly, because I was in Rocky Horror Picture Show with the dude. And
I saw you perform then.
Oh, right on.
I was at that show.
Good for me. So I heard about your music because he was doing a lot of the video. When you were coming out with your demos, he was doing all of your shooting out by the beach and whatnot. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then when I actually clicked on the video to like watch your stuff, and I was just like, this dude's polished. This dude has like a good direction of what he wants to sound like. I want to go from the start to where you are now because I feel like there is a significant difference. There's been a lot of growth since then. So from the beginning, how did you find yourself to be? How did you find yourself to be writing everything? Like you just heard everything in your head, or did you just didn't have anyone to click with? Like, what was your story of just starting it?
Well, I mean, as far as when I started writing the material that was going to be on Tegmentum, or eventually would be on Tegmentum, I mean, that goes back to about 2009. I was trying to start up a technical death metal band. And I did for some time. I think it was either in 2008 or 2009 that I started a band called Ominous Room. And I met a few people on Craigslist. I found a vocalist. I found the whole band through Craigslist, actually. It started with me answering an ad to a different band, just a vocalist and a drummer who were trying to start a project. And where that didn't work out, we still kept in touch. And a couple of years down the road, we linked back up again when I put that out. And I got in touch with those same two guys. I found a bassist. And so for the better part of 3 years, I tried to get this death metal band off the ground. It's always hard to try to do things by committee, right?
Right.
Because you have to have everything. I mean, everything has to be equal in terms of everybody's input into the music. um, and everybody's different.
Right, and it's also
front,
about like
you know?
finding the people who are going to click with the stuff that you want to sound like as well to represent everybody as a whole.
And maybe that wasn't really something that any of us really could really get on the same page on. I mean, I feel like I found myself in too many situations where people have had very clear-cut ideas of what they wanted to accomplish, but maybe weren't really so willing to compromise, myself included. I mean, we're talking about like 6 years ago.
Okay.
I can remember like 6 years ago, all I wanted to do was to try to get on the metal scene that was there. I mean, at the time when I was starting college, there was a very vibrant technical metal scene in the Bay Area, and that was something that I was eager to get on, and it made me very impatient. And I would push for things. These are just the things that I feel like I'm responsible for. I would tend to push for things, and that didn't really, necessarily, fall in line with, other people's expectations. And looking back, if I had a chance to do that differently, I would. I spent the better part of 3 years doing that. And we ended up going our separate ways, just mutually. We all kind of knew that we couldn't really invest, this amount of time into something that, wasn't really getting off the ground. I'm still friends with all those guys. I still talk to them, and, we all left on good terms. But that was endemic to what's been my entire musical experience. It's been a little hard for me to be able to find people that I, share common interests with. It could just be because I'm, socially awkward introvert. Hell, I just made a whole album by myself.
Right. And that seems to be like an epidemic that's happening now. Is that everyone, like, if you yourself have an idea of what you want to sound like, it only takes one person nowadays. Like, this has been the outcome for Ben Sharp of Cloud Kicker. He with his like wide discography of him writing everything in the comfort of his own home. And then he went on tour with Intronaut. Yes, and they did the Knot Kicker tour with Tesseract. That was pretty fucking awesome. And he had no inclination of ever like performing live, but the fact that he was able to do that and like say, yes, I think this is something I can dig, was amazing to everybody. And that is just because he decided to do it all himself, and that's what a lot of these people are doing now. And I get pretty excited over the fact that your goal as a whole with this, and it's heavily stated on your Bandcamp account as well, is that you want to you are looking for the right individuals eventually to make this project come to fruition in a physical form, not just a digital format that we're laying it down on. So, which kind of catches us up
in whatever capacity. Yeah, in whatever capacity, really. That's really what I mean, by that. I made the album with the hope that it would change my musical life in some way. That it, like you said, would hook me up with the right people. So far, I have had, so far the response to the album has been great. I tend to advertise on my Facebook page a lot. So, at least people, at least it's accessible to people, or at least to a larger audience of people outside of my group of friends. And so far, just after a couple weeks, it's been getting a great response. I've been getting a lot of, positive feedback about it. And opportunities to play with certain musicians in my area as well.
Awesome.
And I've explored one so far, and And it's looking like I could be, joining a group of musicians sometime in the near future. I won't say too much,
Right.
seeing that things are kind of up in the air, but it is a good omen to my mind. It makes me feel like I'm at least doing the right thing, even if it doesn't go past having released an album. I mean, this is all I really wanted. All I really wanted was just some kind of actual proof that that I've had music in my life, that this is something that I've invested a large amount of time in.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to look back years down the road and just and ponder whether or not I should have pursued this. I just kind of wanted to do it.
That's awesome.
I mean, to be completely plain spoken, I just felt like it was something that I needed in my life.
Sounds like it was just your beckoning, and it was just something that you needed to accomplish as an individual.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much a personal milestone. I'm not looking for fame. I'm not really looking for, anything beyond the creation of my art. At the end of the day, my art is what I live for, and just having it is enough. I want to think upwards from here. Having done this now that I actually have something that I can use to, really, to put myself out there and just, at least get playing with other people. I'm finding that what's important to doing art at all is having a next step. I've made the mistake before, certainly with the demo back in 2012. I had a lot of high hopes for the demo.
Oh, okay.
And I put a lot of work into it. And, I mean, I was a little younger, then. I had these grandiose expectations that, it would lead me to the right people right away. That is to say, I just did the demo and that was it. I didn't do anything after that,
Okay.
really. I mean, I was going to school, so it made it a little difficult. But yeah, I didn't really have a next step in mind. It was just sort of put it out there, see what happens.
Right.
And it got a little bit, it started something though. The playthrough video that I did for Upon Arrival, that's the one that at least got Tegmentum out into the open, or at least made it a known quantity.
Right.
It garnered, that video alone garnered a pretty, a sizable, small following. I've had people who have stuck with this project since I started it in 2012, and I would always post and they would always respond, and it's really those people that just made me want to keep doing it. I mean, because there were people that I felt like I made a connection with and were willing to take their time to give, to at least give me a little bit of attention. So, I mean, that's, a large part of why I made the album too, was that, I put it out there. I said that it was something that I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to deliver.
I would cheers you if there weren't this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Anyway, so my point about next projects.
All right.
After this album, I have another EP that I want to start writing. Something a little more different. Something that kind of pays homage to some of my
previous work.
Darker. Yeah, my darker, more brutal, kind of influences. Mainly cattle decapitation and pig destroyer. And
you're digging deep.
Yeah, I've got somebody in mind that I want to work with, and they say they're on board, so I'm going to start doing that.
Okay.
And then other little artistic things that I'm going to be doing for the rest of the year. So next steps are important.
Right. I feel like this, yeah, like you said like earlier, this is like a great milestone for you, and this is just going to open up more doors for you. It sounds like. I was going to inquire about your rig, starting with your guitar. What are you rocking right now? What's that behind you?
So this is my Agile, actually.
Right.
So it's a Agile Scepter Elite 727. It's got a 27-inch scale length. I have this tendency to make what I like to call Frankenstein guitars, where I just buy a base model and then I just modify it. So you may notice, I'm going to see if you can see it.
Bare knuckle pickups?
Yeah, bare knuckle pickups. It's a juggernaut in the bridge, aftermath in the neck. And I don't know if you can see the scallops on the fretboard. But,
I've never noticed that before until you just pointed it out. Wow.
Yeah. It's good for bending and things.
Nice.
Just to really dig in there.
Yeah.
The inlays weren't in here before. I put those in. I
No
replaced
shit.
the tuners. Yeah.
Wow.
I replaced the tuners with Spurzell locking tuners. So yeah, I mean, it's just when I get something, I want it to be mine. Completely separate from and from like a basic model that you could
Right.
just
A
buy
stock
and wrap.
model. Yeah.
Yeah, So that's what I did with that. The tone knob is gone. It's just a little plastic cap.
Oh,
right
wow.
there. This is what I use to track for passage. I did this pretty cool thing though, where there is a two tone aspect to the rhythm guitar tones on the album. Originally, there were Seymour Duncan blackouts in here.
Okay.
And so when I first started production for the album, I tracked a whole set of rhythm guitars with the Seymour Duncan blackouts. Those are the ones that are panned on the right side. And then I sent this to a shop and then got it outfitted with the bare knuckle pickups and then recorded all the rest of the guitars using that.
Wow. What a trip.
Yeah.
And that was all like the same guitar, but I could only just imagine like just wanting to complete your album, wanting it to sound the way that you wanted to, but like you only had half, like literally half, like half panned, like everything, and just wanting to get that other side recorded. That's really funny to me, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the time to do it, and I had I had experiences where that was a cool thing to do, so I just wanted to give it a try, and it turned out pretty well. Both of the guitars seem to play really well off of each other in terms of sound. So
Right.
yeah, with it being the same guitar. As far as live rigs go, I'm gonna try and turn my. Oh, actually, I'll just do this. I'll bring it halfway.
Nice laundry basket, by the way.
Thanks, man. This is what I hope to bring back out on a stage one day. Angle Powerball of a Vader cabinet.
All right. Any specific settings you have on it?
Yeah. I mean, I normally use the low gain setting on it simply because articulation is important to my music. I don't really use a whole lot of gain really ever, except maybe for leads. For leads, most of the time I just, I need, super saturated tones are good for the kind of leads that I play.
Right.
Which are mainly just very fast, ripping, kind of Jeff Loomis kind of stuff. That's pretty much been, my goal for leads anyway. But I hope to bring that on a stage again one day.
Mm-hmm.
With the Axe effects that I used to record that album too, probably right there somewhere.
Yeah.
But, could make it work.
I had a question because you do alter your tunings throughout the album, right?
Yeah, just once.
Just once? Is that for that's not until the 8th or 9th track though, right?
Yeah, track. Are actually changed
down to the F sharp tuning, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, it's interesting how I do it because the way that I have my guitar tuned for passage is it's a step and a half down from standard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like C sharp standard with a low G sharp at the bottom. So it's like a standard 7 string, just a step and a half down. And then for those 2 songs, I drop tune the 2 lower strings. So
That's
I've got
all?
drop B,
Okay.
going on from the 6th string up, and then that F sharp at the bottom. So
Ooh.
it's like almost like the configuration of a 8 string, just missing like a string kind of towards the
Right.
middle.
That's
It made for pretty interesting, chord voicings. I'm not in the tuning that I would be now. That I would be for like tending toward catharsis, say.
okay.
But that was just one of those riffs where I was just like, trying the tuning out for the first time, and then, I just kind of like, just sort of like, caught on to like this little thing, just like, simply messing around with slides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just held on to that one idea for like years, and when it came time to like actually working out the riffs, I just kind of built on that, one idea, just so that I'm not messing up my, potentially messing up my setups, for any given instrument or any given tuning.
Right.
So maybe an 8 string will happen in the future. We'll see. I mean, as far as like low end is concerned, I mean, I get plenty of low end just with a 7 string. I mean, as you heard on the album, like, I go down as low as F sharp, and I just kind of think like maybe certainly for me, that's as low as I'll ever really need, like ever, for any heavy idea that I might ever have. I just don't really feel like going a full octave down from standard is really going to get that for me.
Right.
I mean, there are like bands, I mean, hell, like most of Lamb of God's stuff, from like, say, like Ashes of the Wake and Sacrament, those 2 albums, both are incredibly heavy, and they're in drop D. I feel like context is everything too. Like the context of the music that, you're writing. Like maybe like a 9 string for Josh Travis would be a good idea because, I mean, he's really genty, he's all about, polyrhythmic passages. And that 9 string, if I'm not mistaken, is tuned as low as like C sharp. So like an octave down from where I'm at, with my, with the 6 string configuration of my 7, like it's that, plus, just an octave down. And then you have a band like Dying Fetus that plays in C sharp as well. They play in C sharp standard, and I would say that their riffs compared to like a Glass Cloud riff or something, is just as heavy, without it being as low. So I mean, 2 totally different bands,
Right.
writing for 2 totally different styles. As far as tone is concerned, and as far as just the heaviness of the riffs, I feel like that's also very endemic to, the context of their music, So, point being, lower isn't necessarily heavier in my opinion.
Right.
I do want to write another Tegmentum record. I do have that in mind. And when I do, I just want to capitalize on the things that I did for Passage and just develop them more and make them a little more mature.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming that I do have an 8 string by then, I'd like to really work out, the lead aspect of, the music, work on my solos more. So I think that would be a cool experiment, just having an 8 string that, has, something different going on the high end,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Do you have any intention of like maybe even doing like live sittings of performing your music solo? Hello?
I lose you?
Oh, you got super like your video turned into like what looked like if you were to like put yourself through like Photoshop like 5 times with like the same filter, and it's still doing that. That's funny. You kind of have like this like Chelsea Grin looking thing going on right now. That's pretty funny. It's coming back though. I'm not sure if you heard my question, so I'll repeat. Do you have any intent, maybe, or any kind of ideas for maybe performing Tegmentum as a solo act at all?
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that I've had this dream, for the past few months of playing Nom or something like that. We'll see if I get a pretty sweet endorsement. Then fuck yeah, I'm on it. It just depends on the opportunities that I get. It depends on what comes of this recent effort. If anybody reaches out to me with a viable opportunity, I'll be all about it. I will definitely I would make the time for that.
Was also gonna ask you about, when you're not doing Tegmentum, like what else are you into doing? What else enriches your life as an individual?
Let's see. Well, I mean, I binge watch TV shows.
Yeah. Start with Netflix,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, it is important not to overwork yourself. I mean, though, my art is, what I live for, it's just important that I stay enthusiastic about it. So not overworking yourself is like a big one. I just like to take, when I'm not working on music, I just take opportunities, for just a lot of R&R kind of stuff. I felt like I locked myself away in my room for like months doing this album. And then, now I have this opportunity again to like step out into daylight and, at least let people know that I'm still alive. I want to like catch up with people wherever I can.
Right.
Like reestablish connections that I had with friends, all before I start that next effort. This allotted time to like work on the album, which ended up taking, the production of it ended up taking like 4 months and a quarter. And, now it's kind of finally done. So at the time being, it's just kind of like,
what do I do with my time? What am I doing?
I just kind of want to enjoy like, the downtime for now.
Right.
So I mean, just catching up with people, taking walks.
Yeah.
I like nature and stuff, so that's cool.
Same here. We got hammocks, people who like to sit in hammocks and do absolutely nothing.
I have seen the hammock posts.
Yes. Oh my God, there's like a huge hammock hype out here in Muskegon right now.
Is it a pipe or
no,
a hype?
No, we'll go.
A hype, like it's a trend.
Oh, it's a hype. Yes, we got a huge pipe, man. You want to hit this thing?
Give me a little hammock pipe.
That's a good one. Because like you threw me because like I thought you were like asking me if like we hang our hammocks from pipes, but then like this has been thoroughly good, and this is like my first time actually seeing you face to face, which is interesting in itself.
Yeah, very well met. It's nice to get to know you in this capacity. This has been great.
Yeah, this is awesome, and I hope to be chatting with you soon. And for those who are just watching this now, I don't know why, but you started this YouTube video. I don't know why you would be in the middle of this YouTube video, but this has been a one-on-one interview with the one and only Michael Ball, aka Tegmentum. Check out his album on Bandcamp. It's known as Passage. You can buy it. Is it up for name your own price, or do you pay for it? I forget.
It's set at $7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
$7. I gave the man 10, so now you gotta outdo me. So
it now goes up from here.
Yes, it's all it's a competition to beat me. Now
competition to lose all my followers.
Friggin', dude, this has been like a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed asking you a whole bunch of questions that I really didn't know what I was going to get the answer to, but it was fun learning a whole lot about you, and that's pretty much what I plan to accomplish with this whole thing too. So I appreciate you being a part of it, honestly.
Yeah,
right on, man. And this is like, I guess this is the end of the show now. I don't know what I do at the end of the show.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And thanks for this stage, Dan.
Yeah!